What's up, everybody? It's Kyle with episode 306 of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. Had a great weekend away with Devin. Really something that we'll always cherish. You never know when you go into a new environment what to expect. Sometimes that could be scary. Sometimes it could turn out great. I rented a place for her birthday, a little tiny house. We had a great time up there in Connecticut. Met a lot of cool people. Just really enjoyed each other, which was cool. Today, what I'm going to go over is how to be a man in these present times. The past year and a half, I've been on more of a quest to really discover what this means for me personally. And I think it's a very normal thing for men to go, from their 30s, 20s, 30s. When you start having children, you start having more responsibilities, you start having this question in your head as to, am I enough of a man? What does that mean? And you start diving down that rabbit hole. This has coincided with my walk in my faith, at the same time. So I'm not sure, maybe the Bible or my faith has inspired this mission of mine to really continue to dig into this. But anyhow, what I'm going to do today is just kind of share a couple different categories I put together, things that I've been working on. Because if you look at everything going on past couple years, how we've allowed this control to come in, and how people just go along with whatever they're told by the government. It really, in my opinion, comes down to a lack of men out there, a lack of men. Would these situations have happened with the greatest generation, my grandfather Leo or Boyd's generation? I highly doubt it. But too many men were just willing to acquiesce and go along with the narrative. Talking about the bug, all that junk. So here we go. Some simple things that you can do. And some of these might sound silly. The first one is you should begin carrying a knife on you. If you're a man, you should have a knife on you. Even if it's just to open a box or a bag of something, you should always be carrying a knife. And I had started doing this, and then I read it in one of the books I was reading last year. After the fact, I was like, well, I guess I was right. It just triggers something in your mind where if you are carrying a knife, you're ready to go. Hopefully you don't have to use it for protection. I'll go over that next. But you should be prepared. If your kids need you to do something that involves a knife, it's just such a handy tool. But that is something that's going to trigger something. It's almost like part of your uniform. If you're a dad or a man, you just get a nice little knife, nothing illegal or nothing like that, and you wear it on your waistband. That's it. So that's a simple one that everybody can start with. Some of the stuff is going to be more in depth as far as it's going to take a change of you as a person and a change in mindset. The next thing I believe every man should do, at least a little bit, is take some kind of self-defense or martial art. Most men are going to panic if they get into a situation where somebody attacks them and their family and they get punched in the face or they get choked from behind. They're not going to know what to do because they're not used to that exposure, to that stimulus. Every man should know what that feels like, to get choked out, to get punched, to throw a punch, to choke somebody. The last thing you can afford as the protector of your house and your wife is to not be prepared if something goes down when you're out with your family. You owe it to your family and to yourself. That's why I'm so dedicated to going to jiu-jitsu twice a week. I try not to miss. If I have to miss, it kind of upsets me. But I try to be very diligent. Is there other stuff that I could be doing for the businesses and whatnot at that time? Of course there is. But it's a priority for me. Another simple thing, not easy but simple, is physical exertion. You must be able to push yourself to limits that really challenge your mind. You have to do this as a man. If you're not challenging yourself to that level, you're atrophying, you're withering away. Your muscular system, your mind, your mental toughness. You got to challenge yourself. Physical exertion. I guess that ties into the next one. We just did the Mount Washington. Man, that's like over 3 weeks ago now. Me and Devin were talking about it over the weekend, and that might be a something like a rite of passage. I'm thinking each year. I think each year you should have something that really pushes yourself. I'm working on something else for the gyms, organizing a group of guys to do a Navy SEAL type thing with hiring a few of them to put us through a full day's worth of training. But something like that, where you're really going to push and find out your limits. There used to be in society, which we don't really have here in America anymore, rites of passage for boys that were adolescents that were becoming men. Whether they would have to fight everybody in the tribe, whether they would have to go, some of the Native Americans, go live without food and water for 2-3 days by themselves up in the mountains. Whatever it was, there were rites of passage that clearly defined the moment that you went from boyhood to manhood. And let me be very clear on this too. Just because you're in your 20s or 30s doesn't make you a man. Physically, you're a man when you're 18. I understand that. But it does not make you a man. And just because you're in your 40s, 50s doesn't make you a man either. Most people never develop into the true man that they're supposed to become. They kind of just stay as this male, right? And there's a big difference between male and being a man, in my opinion. So let's move on to the next list I have, your mindset. And this is stuff you can just start working on again, guys. This is not me talking down to anybody. This is me, the stuff that I'm working on and I'm aware of my weaknesses and stuff that I'm trying to improve, and then I just share it with you. So with your mindset, you have to become a better decision maker. You have to be good at making decisions. Decide, all right? Decision means to sever yourself from the other option. This is critical. Any woman will tell you, I believe, that if you are a man, if you are the husband, you're the father, and you can't make decisions, it's very unattractive. You're weak. Learn how to make decisions with simple things. It could be, what hat am I going to wear? Pick a hat and put a hat on. What are you going to eat? Where are you going to go to eat? And start working this decision-making muscle. It's black or white. As a man, you have to be able to make decisions. You waste so much energy if you are in this gray area in your head where you don't make decisions. It's black or white. That's part of the panda. Make a decision. The second thing on the mindset list, and I kind of thought about this when we were at the latest mastermind. Vince, who's a good friend of mine, and he's the founder and owner of the mastermind group. He was going over key criteria as far as being a gym owner and whatnot, and then kind of highlighted me at one part, which I was honored about, really not giving a shit. And you guys know I hardly ever curse, but that was how he phrased it. And it went over when we opened the gym back in May 2020. And people that know me know that I really don't care what people think, to a large degree. Yes, everybody can feel something, but I get over it real quick. If somebody thinks something about me, I for the most part, Devin will tell you, unless it's her or somebody very close to me, but even then, if Devin disagrees with me, I still act on my decision. So work that muscle about not giving a shit. Get good at that. Don't worry about judgment. The judgment piece is more of a feminine trait, where they're much more sensitive to it. The structure in their brain, the anterior cingulate cortex, is much larger in women. It's enhanced by estrogen. Testosterone is supposed to shrink that. If you are overly sensitive to what people think of you, you got to work on that. You have to work on that. Then make a decision in your mind to start learning how to garden, how to hunt, how to fish. Get a mentor, like I did with this stuff. And figure it out, even if it's not something you really want to pursue full time. But you should be able, as a man, to live off the land that you have. Even if you're in a crowded area, you could have a garden. You could figure out where to hunt. Start getting back in touch with your primal ways of being a hunter-gatherer. I think there's something very primal, and we've lost touch with what it means to do that as a father and as a man, as a husband. to physically be able to cultivate your land or live off your land and provide for your family. Food shortages are coming, guys. That's a reality. And I've been saying that for a while. Let's say you can't get food at the store. What are you going to do as the man? Right? You want to work with, you want to operate with morals and ethics. So you're not going to go rob people or whatnot. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're going to get food at the store? That's just another thought. The last category I have here is really being the father. So you think about father, paternal. It's about patterns, paternal. And this is all how you lead your family, really. You have to provide for your family. I was just talking about that. You have to be able to influence people in your community. That is huge as far as being that father figure. You have to provide romance for your wife if you're married. Too many of us forget what that means. We let the novelty wear off and we stop romancing our wives. Your wives want you to be decision makers. They want you to be strong men. They want you to provide romance, spontaneity. They want you to provide novelty. So this is part of your role as a father and a husband. You have to be the paternal figure, the pattern. Okay, pattern. Remember, paternal is pattern. And people are going to model what you do. Today's society, they've really tried to diminish the family unit, the nuclear family unit, and the father figures within the homes. Listen, when crap hits the fan, let's say it's just you and your family, people are looking for daddy. People are looking for the father. If war comes to America, people are looking for the father. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it should be and the way it has always been. We have different roles. Man and woman have different roles. Don't get confused and start becoming the woman more so in the household. Don't do that. Last thing I'll plant in your mind, different categories I've thought of. As a man, you have to be able to financially provide for your family. Physically, you have to be in shape. You have to be able to protect your family. You got to have knowledge. You have to be a learned individual. You have to constantly seek knowledge and improve your mind. You have to have some type of spiritual foundation. Otherwise, you're built on a faulty foundation. You're not going to be able to make it through the tough times. Here's the thing. As the dad and as the man, as the father, you're going to have doubts a lot of times. You're going to not be sure how you're going to be able to do things for your family. That happens to me a lot. Sometimes you don't have people to turn to. You don't want to let your wife know that you might be feeling, man, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. You just got to know that you're going to do it. But that's where you got to turn to your faith and a walk in your belief. Provider, and you got to be a romance guy for your wife. You have to do that. Plan out date nights. Plan out surprises. Make decisions. Be strong for them. So those are just some of the things I've been working on and that have come to mind for me for how to be more of a man in the present times. There's this big lack of men out there. You know, we do the Rip Dads program. Taught their lesson last night, and I love this program because I get to teach them stuff that could possibly help them down this path. And that reminds me, last night, one of the things we went over in the lesson was testosterone, TRT therapy. Get your levels checked, guys. If your testosterone level's too low, you're not going to feel like the man you should feel like. I'm going to be doing an upcoming seminar on that as well. Really think about this stuff. Maybe go back and listen. Take notes. Happy to talk to any guys that want to go over this. Again, something I'm always trying to work on and improve myself. And all progress starts with the truth. Realize where you're weak and then improve those areas. A couple plugs. We got the Fat Shredder coming up April 18th at Newell Strength. You can do it as a member or a non-member. It's going to be awesome. Sign-up sheets are going out this week, going up this week. And we got the shoulder, elbow, and wrist seminar over in Lebanon at Courtside Racket Club this Thursday, 8 p.m. It'll be streamed on Newell Strength Flemington Facebook page as well. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. Thanks for the support. Hit the like button and leave a comment or hit the share button if you so please.